Hey everybody, and welcome to part 1 of a multi-part series where I'll be restoring a Matchbox Vauxhall Victor estate car step by step in a tutorial format. In this first tutorial, we're going to be disassembling the body of the car. For this restoration, we're going to be using 3 different cars. That way I can show you different methods of paint stripping, disassembly, and also one of these is a parts car with a rear door as the other ones do not have them. There's also a variation in the interior on this N1 here. So between these 3 cars, we'll make one good one. To start the disassembly of these vehicles, you're going to have to go ahead and remove the base plate. Here you can see the rivet holding the base plate onto the body. Now some Matchbox cars have 2, some have 1. There are a lot of different variations on these. So what we're going to do is go ahead, drill out this rivet, and remove the base of the car. Now to start off, I'm going to load a 5/32 drill bit into my drill press right here. Now what we want to do is just remove the tip of the rivet here, just the head, enough that the base can slide off the rivet post. Now what you're going to want to do when you load up your drill press is have the drill bit as close to the body of the car as possible. That way you have a more accurate drill. The further you have it, the more wobble you may experience in your drill bit. This is just good practice when using a drill press or a mill or any sort of tool like that anyway. Now, normally I would recommend you load it into the vise, keep it firm. However, I don't want to crush the sides of the body. That can be a little tough. So what I'm going to do is just position this on the top of the jaws here and use it just as a table surface so that I can just tap the top of the rivet, and that should be enough just to take it off. Now if we're going to be drilling a larger hole, I would definitely recommend loading it into the jaws here. You're going to want to line the drill bit up with the top of the rivet. Make sure you have a good path. Keep your hands clear of the drill bit. Turn on your drill press, and you can take the top of the rivet off. See here, we've just removed just the top of the rivet, and it probably needs a little bit more. So we'll go ahead, we'll line it up again. Okay, that should be plenty. We'll go ahead, just see if we can pry this out a little bit with a screwdriver. Okay, there we go. Now the base is free from the body. Okay, now we can see that the base has been removed. This particular base happens to be entirely intact. It's got the trailer hitch here, which is pretty common for it to be missing, such as on this example here. Now to remove the interior, this should simply just pop out, as is common with most. And we can see that's in pretty good shape, pretty clean. Overall not bad. Now remaining is one more small, shallow rivet holding in the windshield assembly. This windshield assembly is also holding in the rear latch door. And you can see that latch right here on the side of the window. It almost looks like a defect, but it's actually just where the door latches underneath the window here. So what we're going to want to do is go ahead and drill this out. Now you have to be extra careful because if you use a standard drill bit, it's very possible to drill through the roof of the car. So what you're going to want to do is take a drill bit and grind off the tip so you have a flat surface. Now you can see here I've already grinded the surface off this 11/64 drill bit. This should be enough just to take the top of the rivet off without going through the roof of the car. We'll go ahead and try that next. Now just like before, you'll want to load the car as close to the drill truck as you can. So, go ahead, we'll raise up the bed. So what we'll do is go ahead, raise the bed so we're pretty close. Now that the table is close enough to the drill bit, we can begin drilling. Once again, I'm just going to hold this one in place with my hand. So now what we're going to do is once again use the jaws as a table. You can load this in, but where there's no base in here, I'm really afraid of crushing the body. Especially where this is just a shallow rivet, and I'm only going to take a little bit off. I'm just going to hold this one by hand. Now, with this is a modified drill bit, it's going to walk a little bit. Which is okay. So, here you can see it took off just a little bit of the rivet, which might be enough for us to pop this out. With the rivet removed from the inside of the car, we can now take the windshield out, which is holding the back door in place. To do this, we're going to push up. Oh, came a little easier than I planned. So we can see here the glass is not damaged. This seems to be a pretty good piece. I'll probably clean this one up out of the three. And we did not go through the roof, which is what we're looking for. The final part of the disassembly is to remove the wheels and axles from the base plate. To remove the wheels, we're going to start by grinding off the end of the rivets on the axles. Now, if you look closely at these wheels, you notice on one end there is a thick rivet and there is a thinner rivet on the other side. We're going to want to make sure we grind off this thinner rivet and leave the thicker one on. Not only is this easier, it leaves a nice looking rivet on the opposite side that we're going to crush down later. To remove these ends, I've loaded a grinding bit into my Dremel tool here. And I'm just going to put it on the lowest setting and just put the edge of it up to the end of that rivet. I'm going to let the wheels spin, or the axle spin, and it'll do most of the work. Now that we have the car completely disassembled, we can move on to paint stripping. I'll cover that in part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and please keep your eye out for part 2, where we'll remove the paint and color match the body. Thank you.